Hello, One Piece enthusiasts. I'm the One Piece nerd, and today let's talk about the One Piece and Laughtale and everything that goes along with it. Now, this is the 100 sub special video that I've promised, and this is delivered to you right now. Thank you guys for 100 subs. Thank you guys for all the amazing support that I've gotten, and really appreciate it. And I hope we can build a better community over the next few years, months to come. Before you move on, make sure to like and subscribe. Helps the channel out a lot. We get to form a community. We're getting bigger, and I really appreciate it. Now, this video is very weird compared to my other videos, because in my other videos, I always have something specific to talk about. But this is nothing specific. I'm not here to discuss what the One Piece is, or, where Laughtale is, and whatnot. I'm not here, or what the ancient kingdom was. Everything has been theorized before, but this is a culmination of everything that goes along with it. And the first thing that came to my mind when talking about One Piece is the purpose of going to the Red Line. Now, we all know that Luffy at some point has to go to the Red Line, destroy it, destroy Marijoa, destroy the Red Line, consequently destroy Fishman Island. And everything goes hand in hand with the theory of X marks the spot. I don't know when it came about, because I'm very new to the One Piece fandom when reading week by week and following up with theories, because back in Zou, when the 4 real poneglyphs were talked about, it said 4 poneglyphs exist, and there's a middle point at which it will lead you to Laughtale. It forms an X, and that X marks the spot. And that also could go hand in hand with the theory of Reverse Mountain. Reverse Mountain being the X that is in the Grand Line, where if destroyed will basically remove every barrier that the world has. It'll destroy the Red Line, destroy the Reverse Mountain, connecting all the seas in the world, forming the All Blue. So you can see where I'm going with this. X marks the spot. The theory of X marks the spot basically completes a lot of the dreams of the Straw Hats. Number one, it goes hand in hand with the All Blue. The All Blue is basically the first time we've actually started to understand how the All Blue could be formed. That was the first hint given to us about X marks the spot. And it's not the official term, but keep up with me. So, yeah, you destroy the Red Line, you destroy Reverse Mountain, and you get the All Blue. It helps to fulfill Sanji's dream. It helps to fulfill Nami's dream. She wants to draw the world map. And how else would you draw the world map when it's divided? It's very hard. And that thing will change. It will make it easier for people to draw the world map. And Nami will get to do that. Brook, meaning Laboon. That will also happen when the Red Line is destroyed, and the world government will be overthrown. So you see, the X marks the spot theory is basically the sort of holy grail of most of the dreams of the Straw Hats. And some dreams, like Zoro's, is like very, it has nothing to do with the world uniting as one. And for the world government, it's been theorized before that the easiest way to rule the world is to divide it up. The easiest way to rule the world is when you divide the people, when you divide the geography, when you divide between race, between wealth, and between status. Status being the world government, the Tenryubito, and when it comes to wealth, of course, the rich and the poor. Well, obviously goes hand in hand. That goes in our world as well. Racism, it was also in our world, and also in the world of One Piece with Fishman's, Tontatas, Giants, and whatnot. Everything, it's there. Everything is there. So, you see where I'm trying to go. Dividing up the world makes it easier for the world government to maintain control, but Luffy doesn't want that. Luffy doesn't want to control anything. Luffy wants him to be free. He doesn't want to control anything. He wants the world to be free. Now, as to what his ultimate goal is, it doesn't matter, because it has to go hand in hand. That dream has to go hand in hand with basically freeing the whole world. We've got glimpses of that when he is called, and he's literally called the warrior of liberation. He wants to liberate the world from the justice of the world government, and this is how that is the first step into doing it. You destroy the Red Line, Fishman Island. The prophecy of Fishman Island is also, prophecy of Madame Charlie is also completed when you destroy the Red Line, and you bring the Fishmans up. That is a promise of Joy Boy to Poseidon, and Luffy being Joy Boy, or maybe an inherited will user of Joy Boy, or a next generation Joy Boy, or is literally Joy Boy, would be completing that prophecy. Now, the reason for going to the Red Line. I've been talking about why Luffy should go to the, what happens if Luffy goes to the Red Line and destroys it, goes to Marijoa and destroys it. Now, the question is, how do you motivate a person like Luffy to go to the Red Line or Marijoa to fight against the world government? Because, again, Luffy doesn't have a grudge against the world government unless they're trying to stop him. They're trying to stop his friends or his dreams. That's the only time when Luffy would be prepared to fight. Now, what better way to basically motivate Luffy to prepare for a fight rather than the previous Joy Boy explaining to Luffy that the world he lives in is wrong. When the complete history is revealed in Laughtale, it's a tale of laughter for sure, but I don't think it's all happy-go-lucky, because the darkness in the world of One Piece is always there. The best way to motivate Luffy is to take him to Laughtale, discover what Joy Boy had to say 800 years ago, and that's how you motivate him. That's how you show him how the world works. And now, let's come back to why Roger couldn't fulfill the dream. He said he was too early. And why was he early? Because he wasn't in Joy Boy's time. That means he wasn't Joy Boy. He was a candidate, but he wasn't Joy Boy. Much like other candidates of Joy Boy. And what I mean by that, again, Big Mom. She wants to reunite all races under one banner and have the biggest tea party. And for Luffy, it's not like that. You see Joy Boy having connections to people of all races all across the world. The Minks, the Tontatas, and the Fishmans. Everyone is somehow related to Joy Boy. And Luffy has been doing the same thing. And what I'm trying to say is, Big Mom partially carried the will of Joy Boy, but she really wasn't it. The one who embodies Joy Boy's will completely is Luffy. And Luffy, being the perfect candidate, would be the perfect person to end the 800-year ruling of the world government. And now, Laughtale. Let's go back to Laughtale. And say, okay, so Laughtale has this hidden information that the world government doesn't want to know. And so the world government doesn't want to know this, and the world government doesn't want the people to know about this. So they want to basically stop people from reading the poneglyphs. Question is, with the power like Im-sama's, with the power of destroying islands, why doesn't the world government just find people from the Third Eye Clan or force the O'Hara people to basically do the research, find Laughtale, and destroy it? Because Laughtale is an island where restrictions have been formed. There have been restrictions as to who can enter the island. And this is where the grand thing comes into play. The One Piece, in reality, doesn't end with Laughtale. It begins with Laughtale. It ends at the Red Line. Roger didn't have the necessary resources or the time to prepare for his dream. He didn't have the time to live until Poseidon would be revived. He didn't have the time to live until Joy Boy would come. Remember, Joy Boy and the ancient weapons have a very unique relationship. Pluton, it's been said that Wano should open its borders when Joy Boy comes because opening the borders of Wano helps to basically activate Pluton, and the same could be said for Poseidon. Poseidon and Joy Boy would be friends, and she would be born at a certain time when Joy Boy will be coming, and the same could be said for Uranus. I did say in the past that Uranus, the weapon that Im-sama uses could be Uranus. But at this point, with this theory, I'm starting to doubt it. I'm starting to doubt that that thing is Uranus because how is the enemy of Joy Boy capable of having a weapon that Joy Boy used before? Because that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't match with the previous records. You need some sort of an activation, some sort of a way for Joy Boy to come and then activate the weapon. It's entirely likely that the straw hat belonged to Joy Boy and that's how Im-sama activates it. But honestly, I highly doubt it. Because of the fact that Ancient Kingdom used the ancient weapons to fight off against the world government, and Doflamingo talks about the national treasure. It'd be very ironic, it'd be very laughable or also ironic how Im-sama is able to get the enemy's weapons after defeating them. But another thing that also is brought up at the time of Ohara, where Professor Clover mentioned that the poneglyphs should be read and the history should be found, and that the world government is scared of the ancient weapons being revived. If the world government is so scared of the ancient weapons being revived, why would they be using the ancient weapons? That makes no sense. Whatever the world government said, it's partially true. They're scared of the fact that the ancient weapons will be revived. They're also scared of the fact that the true history would be revealed. So it goes hand in hand, and I like to debunk that theory of Im-sama's weapon being Uranus. Rather, it is the weapon that Doflamingo mentioned, being the national treasure of Merijoa. That I've been talking about in my previous videos as well, that if the Ancient Kingdom had the ancient weapons and advanced technology, what did the world government have for them to beat the Ancient Kingdom? And I think the answer lies in the national treasure. If the national treasure does end up being Uranus, I don't know how I feel about that, but that sort of completely ruins the feels of whatever we've had with the ancient weapons. Because all the time ancient weapons had something to do with Joy Boy. And if this time it doesn't have anything to do with Joy Boy, you don't need Joy Boy to activate it, that feels kind of offbeat for Oda, considering how well themed the story of One Piece is. It's his story, he could do whatever he wants to do. But that's just another sub-theory that I've just put up. Now, where could Uranus be? I don't really care of where it could be. But it's not in Merijoa. With that being said, let's talk about the activations of actually finding the One Piece. So, why do you need Poseidon? Why do you need Pluton? Why do you need Poseidon in order to achieve Roger's dream? And Luffy's dream and Roger's dream is the same. It's been foreshadowed. It's been basically showed that they said the same thing. And, well, they do. They have the same dream. And Luffy can do it, Roger couldn't. Or the things that Luffy has that Roger didn't. Again, going back to the initial question. Luffy is Roger, and he has access to the ancient weapons. The key to destroying the Red Line is the ancient weapons. As much as I like to argue that Blackbeard would get his hand on Pluton, at the end of the day, what should happen is that Blackbeard somehow loses, and Luffy is again having to take access of Pluton in order to destroy the world government. The world government would be destroyed by the thing they feared the most. That's how most stories work. And now, with that being said, is the ancient weapons the only key to solving the One Piece? No. I think there's one more. I said before that what stops the world government from finding Laughtale and destroying it is because there's a restriction. What sort of restrictions could it be? An awakened island of the Gomu Gomu no Mi, or rather, Hito Hito no Mi Model Nika. What do I mean by that? Laughtale, as mentioned by Roger when we were following Odin's journey, he said that is quite a tale, Joy Boy. The One Piece is a treasure left by Joy Boy. Roger didn't do anything. He might have added a few of his treasures. He might have added a little bit of insight. But at the end of the day, the One Piece treasure belonged to Joy Boy. Roger just found it and named it. So, what's my point? Point is, Luffy's awakening is the Nika fruit. It's the power of imagination. It allows the user to do anything he wants. And that island, if awakened, I think we know what actually happens when the island is awakened. When the Hito Hito no Mi is awakened to its fullest extent. Luffy doesn't know how the power works, but definitely Joy Boy did. Joy Boy definitely did. And so what happened is, Laughtale, my theory overall, concludes here that in order to destroy the Red Line, in order to find the true One Piece is there in Laughtale, but that's not the end-all be-all, because we know there is a story grander beyond what becoming King of the Pirates. Luffy said it himself. Becoming King of the Pirates is a stepping stone for him in order to achieve his real dream, and his real dream has everything to do with destroying the Red Line. Fulfilling every prophecy, every promise the show has been promising us for the past 1,000 chapters. And the only way to do it is by having the same devil fruit. Well, maybe I'm getting off track. Look, I'm very bad at following scripts. I'm just going over my head. I'm sorry if I'm a little unorganized. Just please deal it with me. Point is, ancient weapons are needed to destroy the Red Line, forming the true One Piece. And in order to reach Laughtale, you need the Gomu Gomu no Mi, or rather Hito Hito no Mi Model Nika. That is the reason why Shanks was so eager on getting the fruit. Now, I'm not saying Shanks is necessarily a bad person, because you could also say, hey, Shanks could, if he wanted to, could have had the Hito Hito no Mi Model Nika. What's stopping him? That's a very good question, but he knew he wasn't Joy Boy. He knew he wasn't Joy Boy. Roger told Shanks everything he knew. That's the reason he cried. I would suggest that, Roger would say everything to Shanks because of what he is and the kind of person Shanks is. So, with that being said, Shanks probably knew that he isn't Joy Boy. And Roger promised that there would be a new Joy Boy. It's not him. If it was him, there would have been hints. There have been clear signs as to why Shanks would be Joy Boy, but that wasn't the case. Shanks knew he couldn't be Joy Boy the same way Kaido realized that he can't be Joy Boy. They were candidates, but they're not the right candidates, and the perfect candidate would be the one to have Joy Boy's fruit. And so Shanks is using Luffy to fulfill Roger's dream. He saw that Luffy said the same thing Roger did, and Luffy has the one thing that Roger didn't, the Gomu Gomu no Mi, or Hito Hito no Mi Model Nika. And now you could say, okay, so what about Blackbeard then? Like, what about Blackbeard? He's a knowledgeable man. He knew about the One Piece. He knows about a lot of things in the world of One Piece. Why didn't he just go after the Hito no Mi Model Nika? Because chances never allowed him to do it. He was about to encounter Luffy in Water 7, but Ace stopped him. Again, my previous videos when I said that Blackbeard and Luffy encountering was a part of Luffy's fate, and how Joy Boy, the will of zone fruits, or Hito Hito no Mi Model Nika, allowed Luffy to get away from Blackbeard in multiple occasions. So, and the second time meeting in Impel Down, Blackbeard had better things to do, and Luffy had people behind him. You know that process takes a lot of time. The process of extracting the fruit takes a lot of time, and Blackbeard had other ideas. Now then again, I could be wrong, but why is Oda saving up on the third devil fruit? We clearly know that Blackbeard can have the third devil fruit. Why isn't he just having it? Why didn't he just have the Meramera no Mi? Doesn't he not know about Hito Hito no Mi? It implies, I think, maybe he would have fed the Meramera no Mi to someone else, and he himself would be going after Hito Hito no Mi, but why wouldn't you actively go search for it? It's entirely likely that Blackbeard still doesn't know about it. He doesn't know everything in the world. Like, he doesn't know how to read poneglyphs. That's why he captured Pudding. That's why it's likely that he'll go after Robin. He doesn't know all the answers. He knows some of them. And Hito Hito no Mi model Nika has been erased from history. Almost no one knows about this. And maybe Shanks figured it out when Roger told him about it when he found it out in Laughtale. So there you have it. And another reason as to finding Laughtale, how was Roger able to find Laughtale? If it was bound by, if it was bound by some restrictions. Because no devil fruits. No one in the Roger Pirates had devil fruits. So this is my theory. No one in the Roger Pirates have devil fruits. No one in Shanks' crew has devil fruits. And so, and so they were able to go to that island. Maybe devil fruit users can go to the island because you get sick, just like Buggy. So with that being said, the only way to actually reach Laughtale is be a non-devil fruit user or be a user of the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika, so that you can control the island. You can nullify the restrictions. Or maybe even the Yami Yami no Mi, because it allows you to nullify devil fruit abilities as well. That's just efficient. That's just another conclusion I just came up with right now. Now, I've thrown up a lot of ideas. My point is, I think the ancient weapons are key because Kaido and Big Mom themselves, they wanted to find the One Piece, and they said that we're going to look for the ancient weapons. So I think a lot of things have to go around all together and say that, the ancient weapons definitely play a part. The Luffy's food could also play a very important part as to why it is special, obviously. And that's it for the video. You guys can throw down whatever you want to say. Honestly, I don't have a conclusion because, again, I did say it was a culmination of theories, and this is what I had to say. Feel free to agree, disagree. Put your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, see you next time. Peace.